coming down into these lower frequencies, it could even cloud some of those intuitive functionalities. Let's say the timeless wisdom, the knowingness, the gnosis. You talked about that there's a specific, I don't know, a high frequency bubble called the Merkaba, which helps us operate with our intuitive functionalities while being in the lower frequencies. Just like Jesus said, be in the physical world, but not of it. So how does one tap in to this Merkaba?
Before you enjoy the video, if you want to go deeper with me, make sure you check out my meditation masterclass. It is unlike anything. It's pinned in the comments below.
For them to be able to access these states while in their physical body?
Detachment from body consciousness. So detachment from body consciousness. And the analogy we can use is if we think of a spaceship. Let's say it's some alien from somewhere, right? So these aliens that are not from here, and neither are we, we're not from here either, but these aliens that are visiting and using a spaceship, inside the spaceship is an environment that is conducive to them to operate how they normally do inside that spaceship, right? Okay. So that way they don't lose all their functionality. So when we incarnate into the lower frequencies and we immerse ourselves through complete identification with the body, we're reducing ourselves to the physical and we're not operating from that high frequency state of consciousness. So therefore we lose all of our knowingness. So it's through detaching from identification, and the identification with the body is the foundation of the ego-mind identity, which is what creates suffering. So by detaching from the identification with the physical form, what naturally happens is our frequency starts to rise. And if we just see this for what it actually is, which is just energy, this higher frequency state will start to realize that we do have, I'll use the word bubble around us. We actually have this. It used to be much larger when we were in a higher frequency, by the way. It used to be this much, much larger thing, and it was actually quite visible for those that were a little more advanced and opera. You could actually see it. You could actually see this in people. We've lost that.
In Atlantis?
Yeah, Atlantis, you could Lemuria, ancient Egypt, to name a few. So we used to be able to visually see this. Now that, because of the immersion into the lower frequencies and identification with this, that's been lost. So by no longer identifying with the vehicle, when we get in our car, we don't think we are our car, right? I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, right? But for some reason, because it's so intoxicating here, when we slide into this body, we actually think this is what we are. And we're not. We're the awareness of this vehicle. We get to use it, and we're the total awareness. Now, if you can tangibly realize that, this higher frequency of the self will actually start to become tangible. And this what I call it a Vimana, for those who want to look that up. This Vimana or Merkaba actually starts to emanate. Literally. And this is how we're able to move through this frequency without being affected by everything. When you identify with your body, you're going to be affected by everything that goes on here. When you don't identify with your body, you'll be less affected by everything that goes on here because you will actually be creating this higher frequency bubble. And all supremely advanced beings, ascended masters and other beings, all supremely advanced beings, they actually create a Vimana or a Merkaba, a Vimana around themselves of just pure energetics, even when they're here. So there's no spaceship around you or me, but a supremely high frequency being actually creates one. And through that, it allows them to operate with their normal level of functionality, their higher consciousness level of functionality, because they're encapsulated in this Vimana or spaceship or bubble, but it's made out of pure energy. And we can all do it, but it starts with the detachment from the identification with the body. The body is part of the local environment. It's attuned to and part of the local environment, which is extremely low frequency. So we can't operate in a high frequency way. We can't do this if we identify with the body. And that's why the detachment from the identification, which is the foundation of the false character of the ego-mind identity, is essential for us to start operating optimally and properly.
How would you begin to describe this functionality that we're talking about that these ascended masters would create for themselves? I know we've heard stories of ancient gurus and people like Yeshua, Mary Magdalene performing miracles, But what are some of those intuitive functionalities that they behave with and act with while they're in this physical reality that, as we begin to start mastering ourselves, we'll begin to unlock as well?
Well, one giveaway is just this immense wisdom and love that they have. They're fully attuned. They have detached from local low frequency phenomena, and they're fully attuned to themselves and their higher mind. So they would just emanate boundless wisdom, and the frequency of love that comes from them is palpable. So that's the first thing that we would notice about them. They would be able to access things that you just can't. You just can't look it up. They're just already connected to it. Some of these traits or characteristics that you're talking about, when we move into like the fourth and fifth frequency, more of our astral body and therefore our astral abilities will come back online. And that's like clairsentience, the clairs, teleportation, telekinesis, things like that. So a master often has all of those abilities. Some of them they turn off to not draw too much attention to themselves or become a target, shall we say. And most of them keep the more subtle abilities online. Clairsentience, clairvoyant, maybe the ability to heal, astral project, things like that. And teleportation, actually, probably okay. But those are the type of abilities, the clairs. But the dead giveaway, Emilio, is just the immense wisdom, and the love is the giveaway that this is a supremely advanced being that's working optimally, and we're all capable of doing that. But you can't do that with the finite mind. That is impossible. We have to let go of identification with this, and then all of these natural talents and abilities will start to come online.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you are desirous of more of the real you and less of your conditioned, agitated mind, if you know that you can create a life that you're not leading right now, but you know you can, check out my meditation masterclass. It's pinned in the comments below.